Hey guys, what's up? This is a tutorial on C, okay, computer language C. Now, most of you out there might be quite unfamiliar with programming on computers, but I'm sure 100% of the people out there know how to do things on the computer. But let me tell you something, each and everything that you do on a computer is absolutely and totally 100% based on programming. It's just one language or the other. It's just, it can be C or C++ or Java or any other kind of language. Back in the days it used to be programmed in BASIC and COBOL, and then C evolved, and then C++, and now it's running on Java and different things. Now why do we actually learn programming? That is one question which I've faced all my life, because like when I was a student, when I was a graduate, uh, I had this question in my mind, like why would we learn such a hard thing? I mean, we are doing pretty good computing. We know how to compute, and we can do lots of stuff on the computer. So like, why the hell do we need to actually program? Okay, now the basic reason I figured out to program is that each and every one out there who loves to compute, who loves to do things on the computer, needs to know a little bit of, at least a little bit of programming, because what that does is that puts him into that place, in that zone, where you can directly communicate with the computer. It's just not that you're typing something into Microsoft Word, you're typing something into a game and it's just playing the way you want it to be. It's just that you are actually communicating with the computer in the way you want it to be. I mean, the computer can actually understand what you're actually speaking. It's just like having a translator, like you go to a different country, like Japan or somewhere, and and you don't know their native language. It would be so much fun to actually communicate with them in their own native language, so that they can understand you better. They can make you as one of their own. So there's a lot of different possibilities of programming. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start this tutorial today. I mean, there's gonna be a series of 10 to 12 tutorials on C and how to program, but I know you guys. I know guys out there who are not hardcore programming fanatics won't like to go through all this. All entire different. Like the entire process of programming. It's a vast. It's a very very vast. It's a vast subject, programming. When we talk about programming, there are different kinds of programming. You have this simple coded programming, you have this object OOP, object oriented programming, you have graphics programming, you have 2D and 3D animation, which also comes under a bit of programming. So web programming, there are lots of different kinds of programming. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you a little bit. It's just kind of a beginner introduction of programming in these 12 or 10 tutorials, so that you at least know how to program, and you can actually open up any C editor or a programming editor and write a few programs and amaze your friends. Okay, because these are really cool. And like, believe me, that when you try these things and when they become a success, it really gives a lot of satisfaction. It's just a lot of satisfaction, and more than that, you can do a lot of things with programming. So now basically I'm using a Borland C++ editor. You can go ahead and search that up uh, in Google, and you can download that. I believe it's free. I actually bought it a long time back, about a decade back from now. But you can download that. I believe it's free. You can Turbo C is a very good editor, but it's free. And there are lots of different C editors. You can download any one of them, and if you don't have an editor, you can post me a comment and I can supply this Borderland C on any file hosting software site. But getting back to programming, I'm going to start off with the basics. Now, at first, when you see this screen, it basically is the screen of a C editor. This is the file. You guys can perfectly read that: file, edit, search. I'm not going to go through all the functions, what it does and what it doesn't, because we're not going to go into the depth of programming. It's just going to go to the depth of certain things. Of course, we're going to do the depth of certain things, but not the entire programming, because that's a lifetime of studying. That's a lifetime of actual knowledge. Who the real programmers, they continue to learn, even at, say, even when they're programmers, even when they're 50 years of age, they still go through books and books, and and they just go through each and every detail and try to learn new things every day. So we're not going to do that because we of course have other things to do than programming. Okay, so I'm going to write a simple statement here. Okay, that's done with that. I don't know why that was coming up for such a long time. Alright, I'm going to give a hash. Okay, and then I'm going to write include, then give a space, an arrow, a less than sign, stdio dot h. Okay, enter, go to the new line, another include, another less than sign, conio, conio dot h, and a greater than sign. Now these are two things you need to give in every C program. It doesn't matter how big the program is, how small the program is, what kind of program it is, but if you're writing a program based on C language, you need to give these two lines. Now what it does is that it says include stdio dot h. What that means, these are actually library functions. Remember this, these are actually library functions. Okay, now what library functions are is that in C, whenever you start up this Broadland C or whatever C editor you have, when you start this up, it actually the C editor actually has pre-installed certain functions, and whenever you start up this C editor, it loads those functions. Now in order to use those functions, you need to write something just to make the editor understand that you want to use a particular function. Like this function is stdio.h, which means standard input output.h, and I want to include that library function in this program. Okay, I want to also include this conio.h function. Now what conio.h function does is that it actually we'll get to that in a moment, that conio.h. Now we need to write void, then main, then give two brackets, next line give a second bracket or a curly bracket, whatever you call it. Now what this does is that in a program we may have many different sub programs, but this is a very basic startup program. So in this basic program, I'm not going to use any different sub programs in it. So we're just going to have one single program, and so we call that program main. Now this is not up to you, not up to me. This is up to the creators of Broadland C or whatever C editor you have, and they called it main, the main program. Okay, and whenever a program returns something, like like you type in something, and when the output comes, the editor actually gives you back something as a result. That means you're getting an output that would be some other type. It won't be void, because void means empty. This program is basically empty because it doesn't return a value to us. Whatever we type in, it just shows up. It doesn't return a value to us. Okay, so that would be a void. And since we're writing only one program, so we're gonna write main. If we have different programs, we're gonna write different names of those programs. We can use that. Okay, then void main. Now what I want to do now is I want to print, and in C, whatever you need to show on the console window, we have a window over here that is whatever output will be shown from this editor, it will be shown on that particular window, and we call that window a console window. Okay, now in that console window, whatever you want to print, whatever you want to show to your user or the person who's using the program, you need to write it within a double inverted comma. Okay, and to write that, suppose I want to write hello. Okay, and then I need to close this inverted comma, so the program understands that the editor understands that this hello within this double inverted comma is what I want to show in that console window. Okay, and before we can type that double inverted comma and whatever we want to show in the console window, the hello, we need to give a print f. Okay, print and then f. That's the usual ways of writing in C. You'll get to that. We'll get to know that as we go along. And every sentence in C, whenever we want to end that, we need to give a semicolon. Okay, or a semicolon, whatever. You need to give that just to make the editor understand that that's the end of the sentence. And then since we started the curly bracket over here, and the program is just basically a program in which I want to see the word hello written on the console window. So that's the end of the program. Okay, now I want to write get ch and a double first bracket, and then we give the semicolon just to make sure that the programmer, that's the end of the sentence. Come back down another line and give this curly bracket to end the program main. Now what this get ch does is that the full form of get ch is get ch for character, get character. So what that does is that, now suppose we wouldn't have written this get ch, okay, what that would have done is that would have as soon as we have run the program, the console window would have come up and the word hello would be written over there, and the console window would be gone in about, say, 1/10 of a millisecond. So we wouldn't have been able to see that hello word written on the console window. Now what that get ch does is that it tells the console window, or the editor, whatever you want to call it, to get a character from the user, and until and unless the user gives a character to the console window, that console window will stay there. Okay, now as soon as we press anything on the keyboard, the escape button or the enter button or the space, backspace, whatever key we press, the moment we press the key, that's the time the console window understands that we have got a character now, and now we need to close this window. Okay, now let's just run this and see. Once again, from the beginning, we are including this stdio.h, and this conio.ioh. Conio.h is just for this get ch. Until and unless we write conio.ch, we can't use this get ch. Okay, that's the basic reason we write conio. Now once again, from the beginning, stdio.ih, the standard input output function, and in that function all this printf and different kind of very basic functions are written. So we need to use those functions in like 99% of the programs that we write, so we need to include that stdio.ioh. The conio.h is for the get ch. These are the library functions we need to include. Then main, this is the main program we're writing. We don't have any subparts in it, so go ahead and write main, and we're giving a void in front of it because the main program doesn't actually return a value to us. It just shows up whatever we write right over here, doesn't return a value. So it's a void function, a void program. It doesn't return, it's an empty program. Then we start the program by giving a curly bracket or a second bracket. Then we write printf, because whatever we need to show on the console screen, we need to give it a printf, because that tells the editor to show this on the console window. And whatever we write inside the curly bracket, inside the double inverted comma, that is inverted comma, double inverted comma, that would be shown exactly on the console window. Okay, so we've written hello, and that hello will be given right on the console window. And whenever we end a sentence in C, we don't end it with a full stop, we end it with a semicolon. Okay, then get ch, which tells the console window to get a character from the user, and until and unless it gets a character, the console window will stay there, which helps us to view the contents of the program for a longer time, for as long as we wish. As long as we don't type in any character, that console window will stay there. And then we end this get ch by writing semicolon, and then end this by a curly bracket. Okay, now one thing you need to remember, which is a common mistake, is that we don't put a semicolon after main. That would give us an error. Okay, so we don't need to do that. Now we're going to see if there are any errors. We do that on Borland. These are different for different editors. So we do that on Borland by pressing Alt and F9. So when we press Alt and F9, it shows us success, which means there are no errors. And now we run the program by clicking this lightning button, or we can do it in a shortcut way. That's Ctrl, Control, and F9. Okay. Now it's just gonna go ahead and start this program. It's just analyzing whatever, and there you see it has just written over here hello. Now I'm going to show you a few more things in this tutorial, in this first video. A few things which are very common, very easy. Now a backslash, this is a backslash, and then n. Now if you write a backslash n in front of anything that you want to show on the console window, this hello would go on to the next line. Backslash n means next line. Now if we Alt F9 that, we find it's a success. Then we press Ctrl F9 and find the hello is written on the next line from the first line. Okay, so that's what a hello does. Now if we give backslash and t, so that's backslash tab, what that does is that moves the word we want to write, or the sentence we want to write, from the left margin 8 spaces to the right. Okay, 8 spaces to the right. You can understand this in a better way if you could just run the program, run the program, and we see that it has moved 8 spaces back. Okay, 8 spaces to the right side of the merchant. So these are a few things. It's a pretty easy, pretty common. So I hope you understand this tutorial. If you didn't, just go ahead and run the tutorial, run the video one more time, okay? And guys, this is a very integral part of everybody's life. I believe that programming, we need to learn at least, say, if not the entire 100% programming, at least 30% would do. Okay, so thank you for watching, guys. Subscribe this video, subscribe to my channel rather, and like the video if you wanna. Okay, thank you, and best of luck and happy programming. Bye bye.